The three readings today give us a perfect idea about what we should make of the readings every time we come to Mass. The first reading from the Acts of the Apostles tells us the event, what happened, and that is the ascension of the Lord up into heaven. The second reading tells us what is the meaning of the event. This is the glorification of the second person of the Trinity, the man they call Jesus the Christ, glorified far above every name, every principality, every domination, every power, every authority. That's the meaning of the event. But the gospel, the very short gospel passage we heard, tells us, among other things, the meaning for us. What is it for us? What do we make out of all this? And therefore, the three layers are all important for us to grapple with. Every time you come to Mass, you do a fusion of horizons. The horizon of God and the horizon of me and you. The horizon of us. What's happening in the world? What do we make of all this right here, right now? It's not about looking back. It's about looking at what comes next and planning for what we want to have. The future as God would have us help Him do it or prepare for it. So, I'd like to start by a few snippets of truth or facts about our fellow human beings who are popular. Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post, that media outfit that became very, very popular. You know, when she started writing books, she was rejected 36 times by publishing houses. And after being rejected 36 times, well, she put up the Huffington Post. And everybody, for many decades, was looking up to that media outfit because it was so professional, so capable and credible, and something you look up to. Walt Disney was booted out of a newspaper company because they said he lacked creativity. And Walt Disney, who was perceived to be lacking in creativity, became popular for his being creative. And Disney, although it's going down now, victim of postmodernity and so many other things, but Disney is far from lacking creativity. He was very creative. But he had a second wind, and after failures, and after being booted out, after ending what he thought was a brilliant career, then he began something marvelous. Steve Jobs was booted out from his own company after he founded Apple. After some years, he was booted out of the company. But then Steve Jobs returned after founding NEXT, Next, that was acquired by Apple. And when it was acquired by Apple, then he began something new, something marvelous. Endings are beginnings. Make no mistake about it. The Ascension Sunday reminds us of the event. The Lord was taken up, or ascended to heaven. It sounds like a physical ending because the Lord won't be physically and palpably present in our midst anymore. Endings are beginnings. And the event now leads us to the meaning of the event. The meaning of the event that was His glorification. But the story in the Acts of the Apostles tells us something something that we need to pay attention to. When he ascended into heaven, the disciples were staring up into the sky. They were mesmerized. They were totally dumbfounded. Probably they were grieving goodbye now to everything that we were enjoying. We had good times. We had wonderful dreams. We had a lot of miracles that we did together in your presence, and now you're coming to say you're going away. Endings are beginnings. And the two angels who were looking at the men staring up into the sky clinches it for us. Men of Galilee, why are you staring up into the sky? In other words, if you put it in plain language, ba't kayo nakatunganga dyan? Dapat may ginagawa kayo. You must do something. That means that endings are beginnings. You have to begin something new, something marvelous, something wonderful. So the ascension is an event. The meaning of the ascension is the glorification of the Son of God. But the meaning for us has to do with that. Why stare up in the sky? You know, we Catholics we have everything, the smells and the bells of Christianity. We have candles, we have the altar, we have chasubles, we have everything. The Protestants only have the Bible. That's why they fight tooth and nail using the Bible. They have no sacraments, and that means they have impoverished. They have impoverished so much the tradition that the Lord came, the principle of the incarnation. That's where it all is rooted. The principle of the incarnation meant to say that symbolism, that signs and symbols are part and parcel of our faith, the smells and the bells of Catholic liturgy. We need to have all of it. So today, what is the meaning of all this for us? The Lord might have ascended into heaven and is no longer physical and palpably present, but He told us in the very short passage of the Gospel from Matthew, "Behold, I am with you always, until the end of the age." Steve Jobs ended what was supposedly a very lucrative career with his own company until they booted him out. Walt Disney was beginning his creative genius in a newspaper outfit until they told him, "You lack creativity. Wala kang kwenta." And that ending led him to a new beginning. Men of Galilee, why are you standing up looking at the sky? What is there for us to do? You've got to go. You've got to make disciples. You've got to teach all men what I have taught you. You've got to baptize them in the name of the Trinity. In other words, the God of wonders is also a God of mission. The God who calls is the God who sends. The God who redeems is the God who sends you to mission. Endings are beginnings. In other words, ascension is not only about the event. Ascension is not only about the meaning of the event, the theological meaning of what happened. It's about what comes next for you and me. It's about what you're prepared to do. It's about your own dignity as sons and daughters of God. And it is not about just listening to a Mass and paying attention or pretending to attend Mass with your iPad while cooking adobo or washing dishes or washing clothes or sweeping the floor, but then answering the phone when you see the notification. Ascension is not only about what happened, it's about what you will make happen. It's all about mission. I said in a group last Wednesday or Thursday, was it, that since this is not exactly my first time being here in the National Shrine, I've been here as a student of theology. I used to remember during the time Pare 40, so many active church organizations. Now they're all old and graying. If not, they have gone ahead of us. And there are no new Knights of Columbus. They are all graying and old like me. And where are the ADMA? They're all old and graying. Where are the young people? Ascension is not about just reflecting on what happened. It's what you make happen. It's the mission that you allow yourself to be called to be co-opted by God, to do something marvelous for God. That's the clincher. So ascension is what you do after. After this Mass, what do you do? What comes next? It's not about what happened. What comes next, it is your dignity, the glorious liberty of the children of God. When you are prepared to give your best, give what little you have, what you might find difficult to give up for the glory of God and the good of others.